This is a Cowboy basketball roundup with Oklahoma State head coach Mike Boynton. Well, it was back-to-back road games for Oklahoma State against teams in the top 25 of the RPI. Oklahoma State with hard-fought, close losses at Texas Tech and at Arkansas. You were close to getting 2 top 25 RPI wins last week.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because we felt like they were great opportunities for us and that we were prepared and played well enough, at least for good segments of both games, to come out with wins. Just weren't able to, for whatever reason, finish the deal in the second half, let the other team go on runs that we couldn't stop, and had key turnovers and gave up key offensive rebounds in really, really crucial spots. That was our demise.
So you know obviously what needs to be addressed, but after you have a series of these things, sometimes it can become a bit of a mental thing. How do you manage the message, but also make sure that the guys don't dwell on it too much to where they have this, oh, here we go again mentality, so to speak? Well,
you just got to show them the numbers because they're true numbers. You know, for instance, at Arkansas, we gave up 23 points on second chance points and 20 off of our turnovers. So we gave them 43 points. Now, they turned it over some, and we got some offensive rebounds, but we only got 24 points out of those two areas. So we gifted them a 19-point lead in that essence. Now, if you look at the rest of the game, we're plus 18 if your game's normal. I want our guys to understand, we're playing well enough to play better than these teams. We're shooting our own selves in the foot by not finishing those plays, and they're leading to losses. And we got to figure out a way to flip that, and we'll come out victorious in some of these games.
You played a lot of zone at Texas Tech and at Arkansas, and it seemed like that zone was really good. Do you see that being a more regular part of your defensive arsenal? Is it more situational? How do you read that moving forward?
Well, game by game, you evaluate the opponent and see what's best. We felt like in both of those games, and we thought that those teams were very similar in the way they wanted to play. Both play a lot of motion. Sometimes it's not as easy to scout motion, and that neither one had a ton of three-point threats, although both of them hit key three-pointers against us. And then you add the fact that we're down a few guys, and you worry about your depth a little bit. And so the zone was certainly something we needed to use and was pretty effective. So we'll keep it in the tool bag, and when we need it again, we'll pull it back out.
Stay with us. We'll look at highlights of the Cowboys game at Texas Tech when we return on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with head coach Mike Boynton. The Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Mike Boynton is brought to you by Bud Light, proud friend of Oklahoma State Athletics, famous among friends. By the visitstillwater.org Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life. We're back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Oklahoma State head coach Mike Boynton. Let's head off to Lubbock, Texas for highlights of Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders had not lost a game at home entering the game, ranked number 14 in the country. And, boy, you were active in the first half. You had 3 blocked shots in the first half.
Yeah, we were really active. Yankuba's showing his presence there as a really good rim protector, and led to us getting some really easy baskets in transition.
You know what was interesting is, in some of the other Texas Tech games, they had jumped all over teams early and never let them come back up. But you battled back after you missed. I think your first 4 shots got right back into the game.
Yeah, we felt like we were running good offense, and the key was we were getting stops and rebounds, and we were getting out in transition and getting easier opportunities around the basket.
In fact, forced 11 Texas Tech turnovers. Rebounding was a big thing in the first half, too. I think you got them 21-14 on the glass in the first half.
Yeah, you see really good ball movement after offensive rebound by Cam McGriff that leads to a 3-pointer from Kendall Smith.
So down by 1 here, getting to the basket, and Jeff Carroll with the layup. You had a lot of easy baskets in the first half.
We were playing inside out. You see us attacking the paint, getting the ball into the heart of their defense, and giving ourselves great opportunities to get good looks.
And you're wanting your guys to go inside more. I've heard you say that several times the last week or so.
Yeah, we're our best when we play inside out. You know, we've got good shooters. We don't have a ton of guys who've made a ton of shots so far this year. Hopefully that turns, but we've got to continue to look inside first, and then hopefully our 3-pointers will come from off that.
Here's a steal, and the Cowboys, again, defensively able to force 11 turnovers. Tough finish there by Jeff Carroll, and then you start to get out in transition, and suddenly the 3-pointers start falling.
Yeah, and that's a shot we want Thomas Tazawa to take. He's a very capable 3-point shooter, shooting right at 40%. And obviously Jeff Carroll was feeling pretty good at that moment, so we want him shooting shots in rhythm as well.
In fact, you made 4 threes over what was roughly the last 5.5 minutes. taking a charge there, which has become a staple of your basketball team. And here's another block shot by Mitchell Solomon, and off you go.
Yep, we took 4 charges in this game, something that's always a major emphasis for us. And those are plays that are momentum breakers for the other team.
And Yankuba Sima, coast to coast.
Yeah, he's a skilled big guy. You know, we don't want him dribbling in traffic, but when he's ahead of the pack, we feel like he can take 1 or 2 bounces and get to a place where he can finish. And
there's where he finishes with his patented little sky hook. He's emerging, isn't he?
He is. He's getting a lot better. You know, it's a process for him. He's got to continue to get stronger, but you can tell each game he's playing with more confidence.
Here's an example of your team's perseverance. Smith misses. He chases down the rebound, and Brandon Averett with his first made 3 since December 3rd.
Yeah, opportunistic. And Brandon's got to continue to develop that as a part of his game. You know, sometimes he has to drive in too often and get himself in trouble because of his size. But he's a really good shooter, and he's just got to continue to build confidence in it.
And here's Thomas Tazawa. This is what he does on a regular basis. We mentioned the flurry. You made 6 threes in the first half, and you're up by 12. A really good last 5.5 minutes, and another block shot gets you to the break, up by 12.
Yeah, we finished the half really well. Finished and were able to go in the locker room up 12, and thought we had a chance to try to close this thing out in the second half.
In fact, you got the lead up to 15. You see the easy basket there, and Jeff Carroll with the tough finish. So you're up by 15 at this point. What changed?
Well, we stopped running good offense, and by that I mean I don't think we changed what we were doing as much as the execution wasn't as good, and it led to turnovers. And because right there we don't screen the right guy, they run through a pass lane, gets a layup. And here's the same thing. We don't execute our offense, leads to a turnover. And in this league, turnovers lead to baskets. Really, really that simple. And like we talked about earlier, give up too many offensive rebounds, the other teams are going to eventually start making shots.
And Texas Tech, after a very poor shooting first half, got hot in the second half. They made 6 of 9 from 3. You battle back there with the basket, and you're in a tight game down the stretch. Lindy Waters comes through, and even though they came blowing back, you see it's a 1-point game here. You kept them at arm's length for a while.
Minutes, and we blow a coverage here on one of their best players. And again, just unfortunate. Miscommunication here in our zone. And these are the plays that we've got to eliminate. You got a chance to really put yourself in position to win. You got to make the right plays in crucial moments. It's a hard lesson. These are hard games to lose because you know you were right there and you did the right things to win. Just got to finish better. That's the key thing right now for our team is learning how to finish better.
We'll look at highlights of the Cowboys game at Arkansas when we come back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup. This is the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Oklahoma State head coach Mike Boynton. Next up, the Big 12 SEC Challenge as we head to the Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. Sellout crowd, 19,500, probably the toughest environment you've played in this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great environment for college basketball. Fortunate that I've been able to be there as a player before and as assistant coach, so I knew what our guys would be going through. We love those type of games. We love when Gallagher's like that even more.
Lindy Waters had been in a bit of a shooting slump, but end up with a career high in this game.
Yeah, he played really well. You know, he was a guy we needed. We're short-handed in this game. But again, our guys are so tough and resilient. They still were able to come out and play with a great amount of energy and get themselves a really good lead early in the first half.
Yeah, and you see the easy basket for Waters here. Tavares Shine and Kendall Smith out for this game. So you had 8 scholarship guys, and you had a walk-on, Trey Reeves. That's all you had, 9 guys dressed out.
Yep, that's all we had. And we thought that was enough. You know, obviously it turned out not to be at the end, but we put ourselves in position by playing really well, moving the basketball, and again, getting key stops early and leading to easy baskets.
Tazawa with a three-pointer there. You made 6 threes in the first half. You jumped out to that lead. Arkansas came back, and then you extended it again. Yeah,
we knew they'd make a run. We knew we had to use everybody we had, try to build some breaks in between, some media timeouts and things of that nature. But we got a lot of contributions from everybody who played in the first half.
Yeah, Lucas Casson going with the new hair look, but the same old dunk. And here's Tazawa missing there, but, you know, again, you had an advantage rebounding in the first half. Well, and there's Trey Reeves.
Yeah, I'm so happy for that kid to go out there, knowing the work he puts in every day. You know, obviously not an ideal situation for our team going into Bud Walton, having to, put him in that situation. But, he was ready and gave us some quality minutes.
Yeah, you ended up playing 3 minutes in the first half.
Yep, played 3 minutes. We thought we'd get him in there around the media timeout and get him out a little quicker. But, he's more than capable of helping us for a short span like that.
Cowboys up by 8. You go inside, Sema gets the dunk, and you know Arkansas pressured you kind of off and on in this game, but it seemed like in the first half you kind of got them out of it because you attacked it so well.
Yeah, we played inside out. We rebounded the basketball. We took good shots because we didn't turn it over, and we were able to build ourselves a pretty good lead.
Does this style of game suit your team? Seems like a lot of it's broken court. Did you feel like going in, even depleted as you were, as Averett beats the halftime buzzer, that, hey, this suits us a little bit?
Yeah, we've got to be a team that plays in attack mode. We've got to put the ball into the paint, try to get easy looks there, and then we've got to shoot three-pointers after we attack inside.
Shot 50% in the first half, and you're up by 8 in a great spot at halftime. And here's some of that full-court pressure, and here's an example of you handling it well.
Yeah, did a pretty good job. You know, Averett's a shot he takes and makes, 90% of the time get to the free throw line area. So he did a pretty good job attacking their pressure.
Mitchell Solomon inside. Most productive game offensively for him in a while. They had 10 points.
Yeah, we got to get more of that from him. He's shooting almost 85% on post-ups on the year. We just got to let him understand that that's a play we need him to make for our team to have the most success.
Up by 9 in the second half. Another finish by Sema. At this point, the game changed. Offensively, you didn't score for a while, and they were able to get out and force some turnovers and get out in the fast break. And as they often do, it was a quick run. It was a 12-0 run. They took the lead for the first time. Turnovers. And then it leads to breakdowns on the defensive end because you can't really defend a team that runs as well as they do when you don't have the numbers back. So Arkansas with its first lead, and then it was nip and tuck the rest of the way. Averett with the basket there to put your team back up. And then, as we talked about, career high for Lindy Waters. He had only been shooting, I think, about 25% from three the last handful of games coming in, but he made a lot of big shots.
Absolutely. He was locked in and ready to play. Again, we were really good when we had our defense set, but when we turned the ball over, those are the plays that really, really hurt us.
Winding down, Mitchell Solomon with the offensive rebound. Manages to draw a foul out of that.
Yeah, they were trying to be scrappy and take the ball from him. He steps up and makes both free throws, puts us up 1. And so with all that being said, we got a 1-point lead with 22 seconds left, and we just have a key mental breakdown here. We got too many guys watching the ball, not focusing on the guys behind them, and it leads to them getting an offensive rebound, which ended up being the difference.
So Gafford gets the tip in to give Arkansas a 1-point lead. After Lindy Waters had the ball knocked out of bounds, he inbound from a tough place, but my goodness, what a look you got.
Yeah, we got Lindy coming off this dribble handoff. We knew they'd be aggressive on Jeff. Got him on the back cut, and again, I got the ball 1 foot from the rim with 2 of my seniors taking a shot, down 1 on the road. I'd do that over again if I could.
What do you figure? That's an 18 out of 20 conversion probably. Now, you still got a chance here.
Yeah, we get obviously a prayer at that point, but you got a shot. But again, the last possession, we got essentially 3 shots at a layup, in the last possession there. On the road with 8 guys, our kids fought. I'm proud of them. We just have to eliminate the turnovers, rebound better defensively, and we'll start winning those games.
Yeah, go back to that last play. So what do you figure that is? Probably a 90% conversion probably in that situation?
At least, maybe higher.
Wow.
That if Jeff Carroll gets the ball at 1 foot from the rim with 1 guy in front of him, I feel really good that he'll make it or get fouled almost every single time.
When we come back, a chance for you to get to know the Cowboys graduate transfer guard Kendall Smith. More on the way on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup. We're back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup. With Juwan Evans making the decision to leave Oklahoma State early and enter the NBA draft, there was a need for some help at the point guard position. The Cowboys went the graduate transfer route, and they found Kendall Smith, who's made an immediate impact on the Cowboy squad. Earlier, we had a chance to sit down with OSU's point guard to find out more about his background and journey to Stillwater.
On the hit ahead for the transfer, Smith, who sent us to overtime.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a storybook. One of those stories you read in a little book when you're younger. That's just like, almost too good to be true. But it was amazing. The fans came out and they really supported us, and they were loud. And we fed off that energy, and we were able to make big plays. So.
He wanted the opportunity to play at the highest level, compete in the biggest games on the biggest stage, on the main network. All right, and his number was called today, and he delivered for us. I think first coming into it, I didn't really know much about the Big 12. Obviously, being from California, I'm more of a Pac-12, Mountain West kind of guy. But I mean, once I got here, Coach Mike and the guys did a great job of just kind of filling me in on,
you know, what to expect. And then Mitch, all throughout the summer and, you know, all throughout, you know, once leading into, you know, conference or the season started, he would always, after practice, come and find me on the side and just you know, just say little things that prepared me or welcomed me into, you know, for what I was going to expect. So I really tip my hat off to Mitch for that, because I don't even think he understood, you know, the significance of, you know, all those little things. So, I mean, Mitch has been a phenomenal, you know, help.
Here comes Smith at Oklahoma State. Down 3 for the tie. Smith, got it! We're going to overtime!
I've always been the kind of person to say, like, you know, one play doesn't win a game for you, and obviously in a situation like that, everybody thinks the shot is what won, but, you know, if Mitch didn't dive on that ball and give it to Sean for the dunk, we wouldn't be in a position for me to even shoot the shot. So my teammates have been just phenomenal all season, just working hard and buying into whatever Coach Mike has asked of us. So when you think about shots like that, I just look back to all the other little plays that put me in that position.
Next up for the Cowboys, a journey to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. Coach Boynton and I break down that matchup as well as the Baylor game when we return. Back on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup, and next up, a trip to the Allen Fieldhouse to take on the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, I was there for the first time last year as an assistant coach. Great atmosphere, one of the all-time great venues in college basketball, and they got a really, really good team. So looking forward to the challenge.
I guess the thing is, you went to Texas Tech, which is a tough place to play, and you had a great chance to win there. You were on the road at Arkansas in front of 19,500 plus. You were in a position to win there. Even though you didn't win those games, is there some value to your team having played so well for a majority of those road games recently?
Absolutely. You know, every game you learn and you grow and you try to get a little bit better for the next opportunity. And so as unfortunate as it was that we lost both of those games this past week, we think it'll give us more opportunities to understand how to finish better as we continue to go on the road.
Kansas is a different team this year in that they're very guard-oriented. They're very three-point shooting oriented. Is that good, bad matchup-wise? How do you read that?
Well, they got really good players.
Yes.
They don't have the depth that they normally have, is one of the issues that they've had over the course of the first two-thirds of the season. But at the same time, the guys that they do play are all really good players, and they're all really capable of shooting from the three, except for the big guy inside. So they'll pose a lot of different problems. So we look at it just a different challenge. You will follow that up with a home game against the Baylor Bears, and the game in Waco was a game that you were in a position to win. Then they hit you with a flurry of threes. I think they made 4 straight threes in that game in Waco, Texas. Kind of your thoughts on Baylor the second time around and what you need to change. Well, first of all, we got to address Manu LeCompte, who got off and went crazy on us in the second half there, I think scoring 25 points. Yeah. And then we've got to always deal with their zone. So we got to be better offensively against the zone. And we got to rebound the ball. You know, they got great length across the board, so we got to do a good job on the backboards. For Coach Boynton, I'm Dave Hunziker. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Mike Boynton.
The Cowboy Basketball Roundup with Mike Boynton is brought to you by Bud Light, proud friend of Oklahoma State Athletics, famous among friends. By the visitstillwater.org Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.